simple, complex, compound, and compound complex sentence. So, what's a simple sentence? What type of a sentence is a complex sentence or compound sentence? Compound complex sentence. According to their clause structure, sentences can be divided into 4 different kinds. So it's according to the clause structure that the sentences are divided into 4 different kinds, like simple, complex, compound, and compound complex. Simple sentence. A simple sentence has only one subject and one predicate. What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence has only one subject and one predicate. One subject and one predicate. For example, in the sentence, the sky is blue. The sky is blue. The sky is the subject. Is blue is the predicate. Predicate. A predicate means what the subject is doing. What the subject is doing or what the subject is. What is said about the subject, that is the predicate. A simple sentence will have one subject and one predicate. The cow gives milk. The cow gives milk. The cow is the subject, gives milk is the predicate. A predicate will include a verb. A predicate will consist of a verb. The annual sports will be held tomorrow. The annual sports will be held tomorrow. The annual sports, that is the subject, will be held tomorrow. Predicate. So, such sentences are simple sentences. Such a type of sentences are called simple sentences. A simple sentence is a sentence that has one subject and one predicate. Predicate, I already told you. A predicate is the part of a sentence or a clause that tells what the subject is doing or what the subject is. A predicate includes a verb. Subject and predicate. How will you identify the subject and predicate? The sun was shining brightly. The sun was shining brightly. The sun is the subject, was shining brightly, predicate. The dogs were barking loudly. The dogs, that is the subject, were barking loudly, predicate. Her younger brother serves in the army. Her younger brother, that is the subject, serves in the army, predicate. The man and his wife were working in their garden. The man and his wife, subject, were working in their garden, predicate. So, a simple sentence will have a subject and predicate. Now, the complex sentence. The complex sentence. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. A sentence which consists of one main clause and one or more subordinate clause is called a complex sentence. A complex sentence is a sentence which consists of one main clause. It consists of one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. One or more subordinate clauses. It is a complex sentence. There will be one main clause. There will be one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. So, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that contain a subject and a verb. A group of words that contains subject, a subject and a verb. That's a clause. There are two types of clauses, main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause can stand independently. Subordinate clause always depends on the main clause. So when I give examples, it will be clear to you. So a complex sentence is a sentence which consists of one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. So one main clause. If there are more than one main clause, it is compound complex sentence. More than one main clause and one or more subordinate clause. So the difference between a main clause and a subordinate clause. Difference between main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause is an independent clause. Independent clause. An independent clause can stand by itself. So it is called main clause or principal clause. Main clause is also called a principal clause. It is also called independent clause. It is an independent clause because it can stand by itself. അതേസമയത്ത് subordinate clause എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ it depends on the main clause. It cannot stand by itself. A dependent or subordinate clause cannot stand by itself. It depends for its meaning on the main clause. So I will give you examples. Examples for complex sentence. I have told you that a complex sentence consists of one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. This is a complex sentence. I shall do as I like. I shall do as I like. Here there are two clauses. I shall do. It's a main clause. I shall do. As I like. It is a subordinate clause. As I like is a subordinate clause. So it is called a subordinate clause because it cannot stand by itself. അതിന് സ്വതന്ത്രമായിട്ട് നിലനിൽക്കില്ല. I shall do. ഞാൻ ചെയ്യും. എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ളതുപോലെ ചെയ്യും എന്നാണ്. അപ്പോൾ I shall do എന്നുള്ളത് it is an independent clause. It is a main clause. It can stand by itself. അതേസമയത്ത് as I like എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ എന്നുള്ളത് അതിന് മാത്രമായിട്ടൊരു നിലനിൽപ്പില്ല. It always depends on the main clause. I shall do main clause. As I like subordinate clause. Yes, I like. Yes, it does not have a capital letter. So this is a complex sentence. This is an example for complex sentence. It consists of one main clause and one subordinate clause. When we went there, we found that he had gone. When we went there, we found that he had gone. This is a complex sentence. When we went there, we found that he had gone. ഇതിൽ മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് ഏതാണ്, സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് ആണ്, ഏതാണ്? You can see that there are two subordinate clauses and one main clause. In this sentence, there are two subordinate clauses and one main clause. ഏതാണ് ഇതിൽ മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ്? കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ നിങ്ങൾ? മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് ഏതാണ് ഇതിൽ? മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ സ്വതന്ത്രമായി നിലനിൽക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന ക്ലോസ്. Group of words which can stand by itself. A group of words which can stand independently. ഇതിൽ ഏതാണ് മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ്? This sentence contains one main clause and two subordinate clauses. One main clause and two subordinate clauses. ഒരു കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസിൽ ഒരു മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ഒന്നോ അതിലധികമോ സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് ഉണ്ടാവും. Which is the main clause? Which are the subordinate clauses? When we went there, it is a subordinate clause. When we went there. We found is a main clause. That he had gone, it is also a subordinate clause. So this sentence contains one main clause and two subordinate clauses. So it is a complex sentence. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ സ്വതന്ത്രമായിട്ട് നിൽക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്നത് we found എന്ന വാക്കിനാണ്, എന്ന ക്ലോസ് ആണ്. We found, that's the main clause. We found. It can stand by itself. It is an independent clause. അതേസമയത്ത് when we went there, when we went there, it is something incomplete. It is incomplete by itself. When we went there. Similarly, that he had gone. That he had gone. It's also incomplete. When we went there, it's a subordinate clause. We found main clause. That he had gone, subordinate clause. ഒരു കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസിന്റെ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആണ്. Complex sentences are formed using subordinating conjunctions. Complex sentences are formed using subordinating conjunctions. ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും വേർഡ് കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഉപയോഗിക്കും. Who, whose, which, that, when, while, where, before, after, since, till, until, as soon as, because, since, so that, if, unless, although, though, as if, what, how, and whether. So using such words, complex sentences are formed. Complex sentences are formed using such words. These words are called subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions. Complex sentence, more examples. The children who go to village schools get midday meals. The children who go to village schools get midday meals. Here, who go to village schools? It is a subordinate clause. Who go to village schools? So here, who is a subordinating conjunction. Who is a subordinating conjunction. The main clause is the children get midday meals. The children get midday meals. It's a main clause. Who go to village schools? Subordinate clause. It is a complex sentence. Next sentence. A tiger that is wounded is very dangerous. A tiger that is wounded is very dangerous. The main clause is a tiger is very dangerous. A tiger is very dangerous. It is the main clause. That is wounded. It is a subordinate clause. That is wounded. When I visited him yesterday, he was not feeling well. When I visited him yesterday, he was not feeling well. Here, he was not feeling well is the main clause. When I visited him yesterday is the subordinate clause. അപ്പോൾ സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസിന് സ്വതന്ത്രമായിട്ട് നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അതെപ്പോഴും മെയിൻ ക്ലോസിനെ ആശ്രയിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് നിൽക്കുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ് ഓൾവേസ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ദ മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ്. Although I met him, I could not talk to him. Although I met him, I could not talk to him. Here, I could not talk to him. That's the main clause. Although I met him, that is subordinate clause. As soon as the teacher arrived, the students greeted her. As soon as the teacher arrived, it is a subordinate clause. The students greeted her. It is a main clause. The man is so weak that he cannot work. The man is so weak. It is a main clause. That he cannot work. It is a subordinate clause. She was absent yesterday because she was ill. Because she was ill. It is a subordinate clause. She was absent yesterday, main clause. Now the next one is the compound sentence. The compound sentence. A sentence which consists of two or more main clauses. It is also called coordinate clauses. A sentence which consists of two or more main clauses. The main clauses in the compound sentence are called coordinate clauses. Is called a compound sentence. Each clause is joined together by a coordinating conjunction like and or etc. So the main clauses are joined together. The main clauses are joined together by a coordinating conjunction like and or etc. They are clauses of equal rank or importance, independent of each other. Such clauses are called coordinate clauses. A sentence which consists of two or more main clauses. ഒരു കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ് കൺസിസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് two or more main clauses. Two or more main clauses. Examples. Ram went to the station and boarded the Bombay train. Ram went to the station and boarded the Bombay train. Here there are two main clauses. Ram went to the station. Ram boarded the Bombay train. These are the two main clauses. These main clauses are joined together by a coordinating conjunction and. Ram went to the station and boarded the Bombay train. Next example, you can go by bus or by train. You can go by bus or by train. It also contains two main clauses. You can go by bus, you can go by train. They are joined by the coordinating conjunction or. He went to Madras, got his visa and came back. He went to Madras, got his visa and came back. It contains three main clauses. Three main clauses. He went to Madras, got his visa, came back. Joined together by and. Now the fourth one is the compound complex sentence. The compound complex sentence. A sentence containing two or more main clauses and at least one subordinate clause is called the compound complex sentence. A sentence containing two or more main clauses and at least one subordinate clause is called the compound complex sentence. While the man played the harmonium, the boys sang and the girls danced. There, the subordinate clause is while the man played the harmonium. While the man played the harmonium, the boys sang. It is a main clause. The girls danced. It is also a main clause joined together by the coordinating conjunction and. I knew that he was ill, but I did not know that he suffered from cancer. It is a compound complex sentence. Which are the main clauses? Which are the subordinate clauses? I knew that he was ill, but I did not know that he suffered from cancer. I knew. It is a main clause. I knew that he was ill. Subordinate clause. But I did not know. It is a main clause. That he suffered from cancer. Subordinate clause. So this sentence contains two main clauses and two subordinate clauses. It's a compound complex sentence. Convert the following simple sentences into compound sentences. Being tired, she fell asleep. Being tired, she fell asleep. It is a simple sentence. Being tired, she fell asleep. ഇവിടെ being tired എന്നുള്ളത് ഒരു ക്ലോസ് അല്ല. ഒരു ക്ലോസ് ആകുമ്പോൾ there will be a verb. അതിൽ വെർബില്ല. It's a phrase. Being tired, she fell asleep. It's a simple sentence. There is no subordinate clause in the sentence. It is a simple sentence. You are asked to change it into compound sentence. You can change it. You can turn it into compound sentence in this way. She was tired and fell asleep. അപ്പോൾ കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസ് ആകുമ്പോൾ രണ്ട് മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസ് രണ്ടോ അതിലധികമോ മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ്. She was tired. It is a main clause. She was tired. She fell asleep. It's also a main clause. Next one. Besides being handsome, he is intelligent. Besides being handsome, he is intelligent. It's a simple sentence. Besides being handsome, only a phrase, not a clause. Besides being handsome, he is intelligent. How can you convert into compound sentence? He is not only handsome but also intelligent. Using not only but also. He is not only handsome but also intelligent. It's a compound sentence. From compound to simple. We finished our work and left the office. We finished our work and left the office. It's a compound sentence. How can we convert it into simple sentence? Having finished our work, we left the office. Having finished our work, we left the office. It is a simple sentence. Or you can say finishing our work, we left the office. It is also correct. Finishing our work, we left the office. Or having finished our work, we left the office. The doctor was good natured and he became popular. Compound sentence. The doctor was good natured and he became popular. It can be turned into simple sentence in this way. By his good nature, the doctor became popular. By his good nature, the doctor became popular. From simple to compound. You are given simple sentence. You are asked to convert it into compound sentence. Getting up, the child cried. Getting up, the child cried. എഴുന്നേറ്റ ഉടനെ കുട്ടി കരഞ്ഞു വന്നു. Getting up, the child cried. It's a simple sentence. Compound sentence. The child got up and cried. The child got up and cried. The child got up, the child cried. Joined together by the coordinating conjunction and. Besides a house, he gave them a car also. Besides a house, he gave them a car also. It is a simple sentence. You can turn it into compound sentence. He gave them not only a house but also a car. He gave them not only a house but also a car. You must take your medicines, otherwise you cannot get well. A compound sentence. You must take your medicines, otherwise you cannot get well. So it is made a simple sentence. You must take your medicines to get well. You must take your medicines to get well. അപ്പോൾ എത്രയും എളുപ്പത്തിൽ എങ്ങനെ സിമ്പിൾ സെന്റൻസ് ആക്കാം എന്നാണ് ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ടത്. അതേസമയത്ത് സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പാടില്ല സിമ്പിൾ സെന്റൻസിൽ. യു മസ്റ്റ് ടേക്ക് യുവർ മെഡിസിൻസ് ടു ഗെറ്റ് വെൽ. Although the house was messy, Mary did not complain. Although the house was messy, Mary did not complain. It's a complex sentence. You are asked to change it into simple sentence. Although the house was messy, Mary did not complain. Despite the house being messy, Mary did not complain. ഇപ്പൊ വീടാകെ അലങ്കോലമായ അവസ്ഥ ആയിട്ടും മേരി ഡിഡ് നോട്ട് കംപ്ലൈൻ. ഡെസ്പൈറ്റ് ദി ഹൗസ് ബീങ് മെസ്സി, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇൻസ്പൈറ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ ഹൗസ് ബീങ് മെസ്സി, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇൻസ്പൈറ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ മെസ്സിനസ് ഓഫ് ദി ഹൗസ് മേരി ഡിഡ് നോട്ട് കംപ്ലൈൻ. ഏത് രീതിയിലും സിമ്പിൾ സെന്റൻസ് ആക്കാം. അതേസമയത്ത് അതിൽ കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പാടില്ല എന്നാണ്. കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസ് ഇൻറ്റു സിമ്പിൾ സെന്റൻസ്. Compound sentence into simple sentence. He found his apartment locked, so he waited outside for his friend. It's a compound sentence because it consists of two main clauses. He found his apartment locked, so he waited outside for his friend. He found his apartment locked, so he waited outside for his friend. It's a compound sentence. How can you change it into simple sentence? Finding his apartment locked, he waited outside for his friend. Finding his apartment locked, he waited outside for his friend. Owing to the lack of funds, they had to abandon the project. Owing to the lack of funds, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ because of the lack of funds, they had to abandon the project. Even though we missed the bus, we got to office on time. അതൊരു കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസിലേക്ക് മാറ്റണം. തന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് ഒരു കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് ആണ്, കാരണം there is a subordinate clause. Even though we missed the bus, we got to office on time. Turn into a compound sentence. അതങ്ങനെ കോമ്പൗണ്ട് സെന്റൻസ് ആകും. നോക്കൂ, വി മിസ്ഡ് ദ ബസ് യെറ്റ് ഗോട്ട് ടു ഓഫീസ് ഓൺ ടൈം. സ്വതന്ത്രമായ രണ്ട് ക്ലോസ്. വി മിസ്ഡ് ദ ബസ് യെറ്റ് ഗോട്ട് ടു ഓഫീസ് ഓൺ ടൈം. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ. ഹിസ് സൈലൻസ് പ്രൂവ്സ് ഹിസ് ഗിൽറ്റ്. ഹിസ് സൈലൻസ് പ്രൂവ്സ് ഹിസ് ഗിൽറ്റ്. അത് കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് ആക്കിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഹിസ് സൈലൻസ് പ്രൂവ്സ് ദാറ്റ് ഹി ഈസ് ഗിൽറ്റി. His silence proves that he is guilty. I saw a very old man. Simple sentence. I saw a very old man. അത് കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് ആക്കാൻ പറയുമ്പോൾ അതിൽ നിന്ന് എങ്ങനെ ഒരു സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാമെന്നാണ് ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ടത്. I saw a very old man. I saw a man who was very old. ഒരു സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് അവിടെ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. I saw a very old man. I saw a man who was very old. I went there to meet my friend. I went there to meet my friend. Simple sentence. I went there and met my friend. Compound sentence. On seeing the police, he ran away. Simple sentence. On seeing the police, he ran away. അത് കോംപ്ലക്സ് സെന്റൻസ് ആക്കുമ്പോൾ when he saw the police, he ran away. സബോർഡിനേറ്റ് ക്ലോസ് നമ്മൾ അവിടെ ഉണ്ടാക്കി. When he saw the police, he ran away.